what I do is I put on either the birdie dance or the hokey pokey. Is there anyone who is not familiar with these two dances? The birdie dance, all right? Is birdie on it? Okay. The big circle. The big circle. Yeah. Goes like this.
Yeah.
We're going to go through the sequence. You start over. We're going to. All right, fly. Big crowd, I usually end up with 3 concentric circles on this one. Do with the fathers, as I say, you are the perch. You stay close to your perch point. Let the girls fly any place they want to in their hall. I tell the girls that when you get to the end of the music, I want you back on your perch with your dad. Okay? Perch is a very visual thing for the kids. Dad's the perch. And they go across the hall as far as they can go, running and screaming, and they run screaming back to their dad. But the big thing is the perch. I do this when I do the elementary schools. You make the teachers dance, and the teacher becomes the perch circle. So you get back to your perch.
At what point do you say this? Right when they start flying? You don't.
No, I give them about 8 beats in. Okay. And then about 8 beats in, they've got about 8 beats to get back to the perch. And I make a point and say, go home, get back to your perch, rush, go, hurry. So that by the time they're back there, they've got maybe 3 or 4 beats. Get ready to face to the center circle and do tweet, 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 tweet. Okay, hokey pokey, I never teach a thing. This one, I never teach a thing. I've never done a party yet where we didn't have enough of the crowd, knew what was going on. In the meantime, people are slowly filtering in from the edges of the hall. Line. But I find arches to be good because basically you maintain control of the daughter. I never get the people in a situation where the daughter is out of hand's reach for more than 4 beats of music. That makes sense? In other words, I want them closer to their dads because some of these girls will just space it out and walk off. And I don't want to have the dad go very far before he's got his hands back on his daughter. And that's one reason why I do arches rather than go down the outside the line. I tell people if you're going to run into trouble and the arch is giving a problem going over the top, just have a couple march down the outside. You know, go down, march up this line, come across, march down the back of that line. And I've occasionally had situations where I had to resort to that. If you've got a dad, sometimes they show up with grandpa. And if I've got grandpa in that position, then basically I tell him, don't try and make the arch, just walk down the back of the line with your granddaughter and bring her back up the center. All right? All right. In the hokey pokey, you have to imagine this hall's a little bit awkward. Let's say we had a bunch of concentric circles. From here, it is relatively easy to go get 4 fathers and form a box. They've got their daughters with them. If you have the guy, once again, if he has 2 daughters, they stay with the dad. If he has 3 daughters, then they become one of the edges of the square, one of the sides of the square, beside the father and his daughter. I don't care which side. It's just a matter, I need dad around to kind of be able to control the situation. Okay? We do essentially a pattern call with the following basics. Circle left, circle right, circle 8. They can all do this almost automatically. Forward and back they've already done. Heads or sides, circle left, circle right. And then we try something new. We add in heads or sides, star left or star right. Not girls, not boys, heads or sides. Because the guys will get real quick what I mean. I don't care whether it's hands up. I don't care whether it's the basket. That's not important. I do the visual thing. I'll go out into the middle square and I'll gather up 4 people, or or about 3 people, and I'll say, okay, we're going to do a star. I don't explain it as hands up star. I say we're going to do a star, and I do it with it. 90% of the people on the floor are going to pick that up. If I went out and I said I wanted to do a basket star, which I don't do at these parties, if I did this, everybody would try and copy me. Visually. Okay? Wireless mic has been a godsend. I mean, the availability to be able to get out in the middle of the floor and demonstrate to them what I want them to do, or to be able to take a little girl like this and pull her out here and say, okay, you're going to dance here beside your dad, and take the dad and put him beside it and say, make me square, or peel him off. They're great visual people. Fathers have learned, I guess I did that, but my father, fathers have learned very quickly to interpret directions visually. And so once you start around the floor rolling them out into 4 couple sets, thank you, appreciate it, they will pick up on their own and start pulling them into 4 couple sets. All right, what if I have odd sets? I can do this with 5 couples. And so if I end up with some odd sets, I don't care. Because I don't really care where home is until the 2nd set. All righty? I use a form, let's see here. The second dance is use up energy for the girls. By this point in the night, Pop is tired. Go ahead and form up squares. And I won't ask you to do this. He's pooped. He needs a break, and he needs something to kind of give him a little bit of air. At this point in the night of having the square, they know what a square is, they know where home is generally, and if we have 3 couples, I might have, you dance with the ghost, but I might have each of these 3 couples go join another set, so we have 5. I don't try and deal with the ghost at a father-daughter party. We will have people with 2 daughters beside them. We'll have dads with 1 daughter beside them, and the 3rd combination is possible, unless they're extremely prolific, as we have a situation where we have mixed 2 daughters and a dad and a daughter in the set. Right? Make sense? We give them a number. I say, all right, we're going to start out with the people back to me, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody with their back to me is number 1, hold up your hand. Everybody else kneel down. You don't need to do it as far. All right? All right. Dad, stay in the center of the set. Join hands with your daughter and make an arch. And take that arch. They've already done this once. Take that arch. Go ahead. Dad, grab your daughter's hand. And run the arch. Turn around. Run the other way. Okay? And we put on the music and go. Then, at that point in time, I say, okay, number 2 is they're back to the basketball stand. And you do it. And then number 3 is looking at me from the bottom of the floor. At this point in time, they got their routine. And then number 4 is the last one that's there. And then I mix numbers. Number 1, number 3. And if we got couples with 5 in there, number 5 gets a turn. And then usually I get to the end, I forgot, whoever we use left. And yet, in about 4 squares, we'll say, well, you haven't done number 3. Yeah. And it's an energy burn. This is what we need to do, is burn up the energy. We need to give Dad a rest. And Dad's sitting in the middle square, and I've seen some of them literally almost come off the ground as they went around. Zip, just going at 90 miles an hour. Right? It doesn't matter which way they go around the set first. Not at all.
Sorry, is this to music or just?
Oh no, this is the music. This is the music. As far as they're concerned, they're square dancing.
What kind of music do you play?
I play hold-down music. Yeah, I play hold-down music. And I usually play something that's up, certainly 128, sometimes I go 130, sometimes I go 132. Now, this is the place where you're burning out that last sudden surge of energy that these girls have got in. Now you've got to have a cool down period. You've got to set them up in a position where the dads aren't going to be going home with the daughters going boink, keep on proceed to the back seat. And I use a variation of Chimes of Dunkirk. Did I put that up there? Alrighty. And Chimes of Dunkirk is an old Danish dance that I've modified for use within squares. And I've modified for the reason I don't want to have to worry about right and left. 5 minutes, okay? Alrighty. Watch the dance. Once again, go. Tap 1 foot 3 times. Clap your hand. Turn around. Join hands, circle. The other way back. Tap 1 foot. Tap. Turn around. Circle. Other way back. One more time. Okay, good. Stop. This dance in the original form says tap right foot, tap left foot, turn around a specific direction, circle exactly one way, come back the other way. Why not use the original directions? Don't want to have to worry about left and right. And so instead of tap the other foot, I have to tap their hands. Turn around, I don't care which way they go, and away we go. Usually this ends up the night, and you're going to have a dance on here, we're not going to do it because I want to show you my trailer. Every father-daughter dance I do, and I swear they hire me back to do this one dance, it's being no daddy. Okay, everybody come up front, and find a place and turn and face me. Okay, that's a routine. I've written it up as a cadence count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that goes through twice. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Well, that's 16 count. I've written it up. But I write it up and I talk it in the cadence of 8. Rather than trying to write it out very complex. And I learned this dance in 1962 from a guy by the name of Kirby Todd. This is the Indian thing. I will have girls come up to me at the start of the dance and say, are you going to do Ding Dong Daddy? I swear I think they practice with their dads so their dads can do it well as the year goes around. And I have occasionally tried to not do this at the end of a party, and I have been told about it. You know, typically what happens at the end of the dance, I'm about to, yeah, I've got one. Typically at the end of the dance, I have all the girls in front of me. The more experienced girls are right in front. They want to show off. And then we layer back to the more inexperienced girls, and we get the dads lined up in the back. Following that, typically what happens, I have a line of girls, sometimes 2 or 3 lines of girls, coming up because their fathers have said, when you get done, you go up and thank Mr. King. And they're up there shaking my hand, I bow to each of them, curtsy to each of them, and thank them for coming to the dance. And they just go away with these great big dazzled eyes. Because part of the culture that's coming back that I just love is the fact that the dads are now saying, you go tell him that. And then a little later on, the dads will come by. The little lines on those girls are just like, thank you very much. Good fun.